Hey, this is Michael Janda. I'm here with Elizé, and we're going to talk about how to hire a UX designer.
Yeah, so I am very passionate about this topic because I help businesses hire designers because a lot of times they don't even know where to start. And a lot of times they don't even know that there are multiple jobs within the UX umbrella.
Yeah.
So the first thing that I say to a company is educate yourself on the differences of, differences of a UX researcher versus a UI designer versus someone who does information architecture. There are many different expertise within UX. And so I'd like to compare it to like marketing. If someone's like, oh, I want someone to do marketing for me. Well, you're not going to hire someone who does social media marketing to do your SEO or to do your event marketing, right? Like they're very different. There are sometimes marketing generalists who have like an idea of how to do all the things, but you need to make sure from your company perspective, you understand what your needs are before you start putting out what you're looking for a designer. So a lot of times I see job postings that say UX UI designer, and they have generic duties on the job posting. And so a lot of times junior, especially junior designers are looking at these and like, I don't know what they want. Should I go for it? I'm kind of more of a UX designer. Should I just do it? And so they're kind of doing like a spray and pray almost. Like, we want a UX UI designer, whoever come and apply for it. And so also the business themselves are not getting as many quality leads. So understand the differences between the different types of UX designers and UI designers and all the different roles that there are. And then understand from a company perspective what you need. So if you have a website that's, very simple in as far as, it's a website that you need someone to just make it really beautiful and put branding on it. Like that might be someone, you might be looking more for a UI designer. And if you have a very complex like SaaS platform where you're looking for someone to help you figure out what new feature sets to add to it, you might be looking more for a UX strategist or a UX designer or maybe a UX researcher. So you have to figure out what your product is before you need to figure out what type of designer you're looking for. And what challenges you need solved. And so after figuring that out, then you're going to have to look at portfolios in the same way. A lot of times people look at portfolios and be like, wow, this looks super cool. It looks really pretty. Well, if you're looking for someone to do a lot of UI design, like great, look at that. But if you're looking for someone to help solve some challenges, some big problems that you guys are having in your product, look for the challenge in their case studies and how they solved it. And then lastly, this is the part that a lot of companies and business execs do not want to do, or hiring managers do not want to do, is the design challenge. So I always suggest to give a designer a design challenge. I don't suggest to do it like a take-home challenge. I think you should do it in person, like a 20-minute challenge, where you give them a problem, you see how they solve that problem and how they sketch out the solution to that problem right then and there, because you're not seeing like how great they are at creating idea or like coming up with ideas, but you're seeing like how good of questions they ask and how what their process is like and what they would even be like to collaborate with. So those are all things that I think you really can get just from 20 minutes of spending time with them and really figuring out if they're the right fit for you.
Yeah. And if you do that challenge idea, I've done that before in the past in hiring people where I have them submit a specific design for a hypothetical project and they design it and send it back, and then you use that as part of your decision-making process. With UX, I think it's really easy to do that because they can do it on a whiteboard or they can do it on a piece of paper with a pencil, and they can sketch out a wireframe, and you can give them a challenge like, okay, we have these 5 pages on our website, and this is the goal that we want from our user. And then throw that in their lap and let them start to ask you the right questions about prioritizing content, how they're going to measure the results of that goal, all of these kinds of things. And then they sketch out for you the sitemap and the homepage of this digital environment that will solve the UX problem that this client is trying to solve. So I think you can do it with UX. You can do it in like a 20-minute process type of a thing. One of the things that I love to do when hiring people is to hire against a list of needs. And you alluded to this in what you were saying. In UX, there are a lot of different roles. You can be a UX researcher, you can be a prototype expert, you can be a UI designer, because a lot of UX people looking for a UX designer are actually looking for a UI designer. They don't know the difference. If there even is a difference, it's just different types of hats in the same world. But you can create the list of your needs and then hire against that list. And so you look at it and say, you know what, I need somebody who can do user research, because we got to get some data on these potential personas. So they have to be able to develop personas and do user research. Or you might have a problem that you need somebody who can knock out prototypes, functional prototypes that can be tested in a user research environment. And that's two sometimes completely different people. Yeah. But if you're not defining what your needs are in a list, then you're not interviewing with the right questions, and you have the chance of hiring the wrong person.